Hello and welcome to Am Writing Fantasy. My name is Jesper. I'm having a bit of a cold today, but I still wanted to make this recording and talk to you a bit about World Anvil. You might already know World Anvil as a web-based world-building app, and perhaps you think that it's for role-playing only. And I guess that's a pretty fair assumption, but think again. World Anvil is so much more. One of the things I absolutely adore about World Anvil is how it's created by a small team. It's a work of passion, and more or less the entire staff over there are fiction writers too. So I think that's pretty cool. And I know this because Autumn and I talked to the wonderful founder of World Anvil, Janet, and members of her team. I think it was last week, actually, or maybe the week before, but quite recently. We might see if we can record an interview with her or, I don't know, something like that in the near future. She has so much energy and enthusiasm, so I think you would enjoy if we could get Janet on for a conversation. I'll see if I can make that happen. Anyway, supporting small creators is something that is near and dear to our hearts as well. And honestly, I think it should be a priority to all of us authors because we are all in the same boat. All of us are small time creators. One of the really cool things about World Anvil is that there is a free tier giving you everything you need to get started. Even the paid tiers are, well, not very expensive at all. By upgrading from the free tier, also called Freeman, to Master tier at the point of recording this, that tier is $8.75 per month. But then you get 2 GB of storage space instead of 100 meg. And that is quite significant. Of course, if you're doing pure text-based content for your writing project, 100 meg is more than enough. But if you're looking to include images and fantasy maps, of course, you most likely need a little more space. But there are some other perks when upgrading as well. You gain the possibility to add 10 story worlds instead of just 2, and there is no limit as to how many articles you can post. Another thing you might find useful is how, again, at the master tier, you get the possibility to keep your content private, and that is pretty neat. You can now control when others get to see what you're working on. So let's say you want to build some excitement ahead of the release of your next novel, for instance. So you plan to drip feed new details about your world, one article at a time to your readers. And this is suddenly possible now. And there are templates included in World Anvil as well, which allow you to make it look pretty good. So there's no website coding or anything like that to really worry about. And I think that's quite significant as well. And a new feature is how World Anvil have added online whiteboards. Tremendously helpful when creating mind maps and plotting your stories out. So as a writer, I think I would go for the master tier at $8.75 per month. But you can also start out with the freeman tier if you want to sort of take it for a test spin first. But the question is, and as titled by this video, how will World Anvil make you a better writer? Well, first of all, it helps you not only manage your world building notes, but also provide you with a nice interface to share this information with your readers. Autumn and I created the Am Reading Fantasy website to serve as a depository for our world building. And we're quite happy with it, but this is also because Autumn is a graphical artist and she has, well, strong skills when it comes to website building. But to be honest, World Anvil can handle everything we did on our website, and I'll dare say that it can probably do it faster and cheaper. As a fantasy author, there is no better world building tools out there than World Anvil. You don't need to tweak images, worry about the text placement, and all those other things that goes into web design. It's already taken care of. Simply fill in the templates and you're basically good to go. For instance, you get a visually appealing wiki of your world, and the different articles can be interlinked. And I can tell you, Autumn ended up spending quite some time setting up such links manually on our website. And the same is true for maps. You can click and get from a main map into a sub-map. And that is, again, nice and cool, especially for a map-making aficionado like myself. I really enjoy that kind of stuff, and it's the stuff of dreams, isn't it? But when it comes to the writing itself, World Anvil gives you a lot of tools in a single platform. I'll focus on the parts that are relevant to authors here, but should you also be into role-playing games, then World Anvil will be of even further use to you. And of course, I'll also make sure to mention some pros and cons at the end of this video, and this way you can decide whether World Anvil would be a great tool for you or not. And they say that a picture paints 1,000 words, or something like that. So have a look at this. Or if you prefer to see what it looks like in action, I've added a link below this video to another video presented and hosted by Janet herself, highlighting the specific features for authors. Yet another thing worth pointing out is how World Anvil has a complete novel writing software built in. So you can enable focus mode to only view your manuscript and write in flow. Seamlessly search your world building Bible as you write using like split screen functionality, and even edit as you go, all from the same tab. So because World Anvil is a cloud-based solution, it also allows you to write from anywhere using your mobile phone. And you see this split screen viewing, and the ability to look up notes while I write is exactly why I love Scrivener so much. But if I was gonna start right now, or if I ever want to change from Scrivener, then I think World Anvil would be my preferred option. And obviously you can export your work as well. So when you're ready to publish, export your full manuscript in industry standard formats. Or if you want, you can even publish your novel via World Anvil. Release your stories, maybe chapter by chapter. You can add in music, audiobooks, images, and a lot of stuff that will help enhance your content further. And all these ways in which you basically can customize and personalize, to me, that is really where World Anvil makes a difference and becomes a very attractive tool. And customer service, I think that's always important. I should mention that as well. That is available via both Discord and via email. And I have to say that after speaking with Janet and her team, they view you more as part of a community than just a customer. And this is really not just something that they say. Their members truly mean the world to them. Mean the world to them? World Anvil? Pun intended, perhaps. And what about backups? Anything to worry about there? Nope. All your work is constantly backed up in data centers, and this operation runs in the background and is completely transparent to you. So your work is kept safe without you needing to worry about it at all. It's basically all automated. Let me then, as we get into the final section of this video, share the pros and cons of World Anvil. And let's do the pros first. And well, to some extent, I guess everything I've just said is the pros. So it shows quite well how much I really like World Anvil. But there is also the ability to create your own world, interlinking all the different elements, the built-in novel writing software, and not to mention the visual aesthetics to place in front of readers. All those are really good reasons on their own. But I think as well, I should point out that World Anvil is really easy to use. You don't really need any user guides, but they still offer step-by-step tutorials on the World Anvil YouTube channel if you need it. But for the most part, I would say you don't really need it. It's quite intuitive, and it's reasonably priced as well. I did mention that earlier. Yet it's also worth mentioning some of the things that you might not really think about. So all this feature stuff that I've been talking about, it's so easy to get blinded by that and focus on those things, but it's equally important to say that World Anvil is a very robust and reliable platform. It's always accessible, no fuss, no issues. It's just there when you need it. And as I mentioned, there is an excellent community aspect to World Anvil as well. And I don't think that's a thing to ignore either, even though it's usually not one of the things that we talk about first, you see. Or how about the fact that the staff is constantly updating and improving the platform further? That's important. They are writers themselves and they understand our needs. You can even collaborate with other authors using World Anvil. And if perhaps you were considering co-writing like Autumn and I do, well, in that case, World Anvil will make your life a lot easier as well. And I also like that there is a free version. I think I made that clear already, but this possibility of just testing things out before committing to anything, that is really a plus, isn't it? Then you might ask, are there any downsides to World Anvil? Well, with such a great tool at your disposal, there is the inherent danger, quote unquote danger, that you'll contract the dreaded world building disease. That almost sounded like a joke. I didn't mean to make it sound like a joke, because it's actually not. You know, as writers, we do need to write, and World Anvil is such a great tool that it might tempt you into just spending more and more time writing new articles, building out the wiki of your world, upload new wonderful images, and at the end of the day, you should also be writing. I would then also say that if they could develop a dedicated World Anvil app, that would be quite nice. You know, you can leverage World Anvil through the cloud, as I said, using your mobile phone, but as you can also gain from all the things that I've mentioned in this video here, it can start to feel a bit overwhelming on that small screen. So if there was a dedicated app, I think that would probably work better. Of course, World Anvil is also heavily focused on role-playing and providing tools for game masters. That is great, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But I would like to see World Anvil develop more specific content for authors. And on that note, the secret insight I can give you right here is that it is on their radar. Autumn and I are in fact discussing with World Anvil how we could potentially end up supplying some author-specific content through Writing Fantasy for World Anvil customers. So we'll see how that goes as we move forward, but the conversations are ongoing at the moment. And the title of this video mentioned a surprise, didn't it? So what is that surprise? Well, as I said, Autumn and I are in dialogue with the team over at World Anvil, and this has actually allowed us to obtain a hefty discount for you. That's pretty good, huh? So I'll put a link beneath the video, and if you use that link and sign up for a yearly subscription, you will get 40% off if you add the coupon code AMWF. That is AMWF. It basically stands for Am Writing Fantasy. Yeah, AMWF. Just put that in as you submit your payment, and then you will get 40% off. Pretty cool. Well, I hope you liked this video. I hope you found something useful in it in terms of what can World Anvil do for you as a writer. And well, have fun, and I'll see you next time.